Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 45 of Live with CDP Sports Talk, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of their new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycullen as well. Guys, just to let you know, it's also Truck Month at Barry Cullen Chevrolet. You can get a 2023 Silverado pickup truck 1500 for 3.49% financing for up to 72 months, and eligible Costco members can receive $750 gift cards on select trucks as well. Again, I want to say thank you to Barry Cullen Chevrolet for sponsoring Live with CDP podcast, which is also on WQEE 99.1 FM in Metro Atlanta as well. And right now it is on live as well. Guys, I'm looking forward to my guest. This is her first appearance on Live with CDP Sports Talk. Her name is Kirstie Kraus. She is a country artist, songwriter, and based out of Nashville, Tennessee right now. And she released her first album, Yes You Can, in the May of 2022. And I believe her first Nashville single was Delusional in 2018. So I'm looking forward to speaking to my guest, Kirstie Kraus, as well, and asking her where she was or what part of Wisconsin she was as well, and maybe if she was a Packers fan too. So just bear with me, and I'm going to bring on my guest, Kirstie Kraus.
What's
Good evening.
up?
How are you? How are you?
Oh my gosh, so good. It is the evening time here now, and it's so cool to be on this show. So thank you for having me. And did you say I was maybe one of the first Nashville artists on your show?
Yes.
Woo! I will take that.
I've had Canadian artists on, but you were my first one from Nashville. And I was going to say, you grew up in Wisconsin?
I did. I am definitely a Scotty, is what they call them. Scotties for short. And you can hear it sometimes when I talk. And I was a Packer. I mean, I am. I don't even know why I said was. I am a big Packer fan. And despite Aaron Rodgers leaving the Packers today, which is a very sad day, as we've gotten very lucky since my whole childhood and of having two quarterbacks ever, and pretty much two kickers except for that 1 year. I mean, it's kind of insane when you have to say goodbye to a key player like that. So we'll see. We'll see who my mom drafts in her fantasy football next year.
Yeah, your mom is following me here on Twitter too, and that's great. That was great.
I love that.
Yeah, that's
both
awesome.
My parents are very much into sports.
Am I.
I love being around them. I love watching games with them. I love the culture. I love that about where I'm from. There's so much culture and so much tradition around football in general, but just in sports, and it's a really cool thing.
I was going to say, have you written a football or a Packer song yet?
Oh, I love this question. I play I play a very particular set song every time I travel to my home state. It's called Scotty Girls, and the first verse is how much we love football, the second verse is how much we love the Badgers, and the third verse is how much we love the Packers. It's literally catered to the fall season. So super fun. I love seeing people's reactions when they're hearing it the first time of doing it live. They're like, wait, did she just say that too? What? It's about us. That's really cool.
I went to my first Packers game in 2019 before the pandemic. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and I got to see the Eagles
Okay.
win in Green Bay. But I'll tell you this, I have to go back to Green Bay again. Even Milwaukee was nice. The whole state was great. And what a bucket list item was it to go to Lambeau Field. And unfortunately, the Eagles won that game as well. But it's just an amazing. And the Packers, soon as they get a touchdown, I can't get that song out of my head. Todd Rundgrum's "Bang on the Drum All Day." They've been playing that
Oh,
for years,
don't
decades.
wanna work. Just yeah, that's so fun. It's so fun, and then when the touchdown scores, and at any local place they'll be handing out Jello shots that just happen to be green or yellow. It's great. It's fantastic.
Are you a Milwaukee Bucks fan too? Before we get to some questions,
I'm a little bit of a Bucks fan. I more watch the Badgers basketball than the Bucks. I
okay,
think my family's more based around the college basketball than the NBA. But yeah, um,
okay. Don't boo me. I'm a Michigan Wolverines fan.
you're fine. You're fine. Whatever people gets their rocks off to. I mean, whatever makes them happy, I'm good with.
Definitely. So, anyways, how was your day? And I saw one of your pictures with your cousin at some motel or something outside of
Yes.
somewhere. Yeah.
In between interviews here, I went out to the Loveless Cafe, which is very famous here in Nashville, and it's my cousin's husband and his cousin actually are stopping through town on their way from Texas to Ohio, so across the country. So they just stopped in for dinner, and it's nice when family gives me a call and is like, "Let's meet up for a little bit." So was working around some of the stuff, video things that I had to do today, but it was nice. It was nice to take a break and go out and see family and be at such a traditional Nashville spot. Like the Loveless Cafe is very famous.
I've been to 13 states, but I've never been to Tennessee yet or Nashville. So for someone that's never been there, what would you say about Nashville, Tennessee?
Oh, I mean, when you do your first walk down Broadway and you hear that much music going on at once, I definitely feel like people who love music are like a kid in a candy store. Like it's just immediately the coolest thing ever. And then it's very nostalgic right now because there's all different tractor and trolleys and little pedal bikes and jacuzzis on the truck beds. I mean, it's hilarious when you go downtown. There's a lot to take in, a lot to watch, and you can. I in one of my songs I say you can see the mother church, which is the rhyme from a tractor trolley. So that's the line is you can see the mother church from a tractor trolley, and that is could not be more true right now. There's a lot of hustle and bustle going on downtown.
Do you have a favorite place you like to eat in Nashville? And do you follow the Predators, the hockey team?
I do. I follow them to an extent. I haven't been able to go to a game yet today. There was like middle of March, we were going to go to a game, and now the tickets are harder to get because we are definitely based around hockey, like here in Nashville. Hey, Steven. Good to see you on here, and good to see you on Friday at the event. But yeah, I do like I get involved in sports if it's like the people that I'm with are really involved. It's kind of been my life has been very much like blinders on, stay focused, get the job done. I pretty much put 110% towards just my goals every day. And I am as much as I say that, I'm so blessed and thankful that I am in a position where I can do that. You know what I mean? And like work towards my dream every day.
Yeah, I was reading up on here. You started writing songs at the age 12 and you started playing the guitar at 15. Did you have somebody that inspired you when you're that age into the music industry?
Oh my gosh, I definitely did. I think when I was 5, my music teacher started talking to my mom, like really like sitting her down and being like, "Hey, this your daughter like really likes music. Like you need to do something about it. It's very apparent." And she's like, "Okay, what do I do?" And so she just kept asking people. So I actually credit Victoria Vox a lot and she is a ukulele player, Americana and rock kind of vibes. She's got such a great sound. But she, at the time, I think was 27 when she was mentoring me, and I was like 14. And she put a guitar in my hands. 14, 15. It was showing me chords. We were writing songs together. And when I was 12, I also had a mentor that I met at a dinner theater that I worked at as a kid. And he just sat down and he told my mom, if she wants to be a country singer, she's got to learn to write songs. And my mom was like, can you help her with that? And so next thing you know, he's at my house. We're sitting at a piano and he's teaching me how to write songs. And his name was Nathan Weslowski. And because I'm talking about Nathan, this last August, he was coming through from the Carolinas back to Wisconsin, where he now resides, and ended up stopping in Nashville and going to a writer's round like recently. And when it hit me that he was out in the crowd and he was the person who like sat with me to teach me how to like fully write songs, and first person I wrote songs with, it was a really emotional moment. Like it was a really cool full circle moment. But yeah, those two were great. Those two were fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the first song that you wrote and the first song you performed in front of people? And were you a little bit nervous the first time?
I'm sure I was nervous, but I guess I don't remember. Like I was jumping up on picnic tables at 2, so I kind of skipped the nervousness about performing. I do remember being very nervous for competitions. My mom signed me up for a lot of competitions, and I think one year I thought I was going to yodel because Leanne Rimes was yodeling, and so I had to teach myself how to yodel, and I had to do all the dance moves with it, and I think I was nervous for that kind of stuff, but maybe for a national anthem here too. But the first song I wrote was called "I'm Holding On to Heaven," and I actually remember jumping on my parents' bed with my sister and writing this song. And fast forward time, she got me a canvas of the lyrics of the chorus to this song. So it was like a really sentimental moment, but yeah. It's just a G song,
Was there anybody else in your family that was into music as well?
I know my mom's mom listened to a lot of music, and then my dad's mom was in the choir at church, but nothing really to like the extent where they were performing. And both my parents are like left-brained, didn't really do the performing route. So they kind of thought I was a weird child at first. They're like, what do we do with her?
Wow. And then Stephen McCurry, who's following me on here now, says, I wish I could follow your gigs coming up in Florida. And if you would like to promote them on here now, we can do that as well.
Yeah, I'm heading out Wednesday morning, and we start shows on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the Tampa, St. Pete area. And that's going to be really fun. One of them including the Tiki Cove and the farm that Chase Rice owns. That's his spot. And then we make our way down to Key West for the Key West Songwriters Festival. So I will be gone for a total of 16 days. I'm like,
Wow,
started packing a little bit today.
I was going to say, are you going to be flying down there or are you going to drive down?
We're going to be driving down. Some of the shows that we are playing in the Tampa area and in Key West require our PA. So we're going to bring our lights. We're going to bring our sound system. We're going to bring our merch. We're going to bring all that goody stuff in my friend Crystal King's van. And we're traveling down in a van.
One thing, I'm in media and broadcasting, but the fans don't realize how much work there is in a setup and a teardown of a broadcast for media, TV, or radio, which I'm doing. As a musician, can you tell the fans, the audience here, how much work there is in a setup and a teardown for a band or your group as well?
Yeah, I think it even starts before we even arrive at the venue. It's packing the car. It's making sure we have all the cables. It's making sure we have, like, it's kind of down to a routine and the science. Like, there's no way I'm going to ever forget my fan at a show because I need to have that air on me, especially if we're in hot weather like Florida. But yeah, just like spare batteries, waters, like all of that stuff. There's so many things to think about before we even arrive at the venue. I'm changing your guitar strings, and that's all before we even get there. So when we get there, it's nice, but we divvy up between 2 people when we do acoustic shows. I typically play with myself and then another artist. So we kind of split the night and harmonize with each other, go back and forth, sing duets. But it's still a lot of setup work. But we definitely have it down to a science of who does what, so we can get it done as fast as possible.
What time do you usually get at a venue before you're performing to set up, ideally?
That is a good question. Ideally, it's 90 minutes. That way, we have enough time to set up, get some food, and then do a sound check, and then kind of be done, so we can start greeting people and talking to them, and not having to be like right at the last minute. However, one time I remember we rolled up and we had 24 minutes to set up, and we made that work.
Okay, cool. Hey, is it okay if I play your little video clip since
Oh
I have you
yeah,
on here? Yeah, it's from "Gotta Do" song. I think you came out in 2019.
cool. Yeah, I love
And I
that
did,
song.
and just to make sure Facebook and YouTube are okay, I have your permission to use your music
You absolutely have my permission. I love that song.
because I know they're very fussy about music on here. So if I do have a musician on here, I
Yes.
always make sure I get their consent and make sure. Okay, just 1 second. We're gonna play a 3-minute clip of your "Gotta Do" song from 2019.
Awesome. You gotta do, baby, what you gotta do. What works for me, honey, made it for you. I'm had enough living other people's lives, feeling small, like I never even tried. I hear this calling, pulling me to where I need to be. Oh. My only choice is to trust and believe in this crazy voice coming over me. I hear this calling, pulling me to where I need to be. Oh. You gotta do, baby, what you gotta do. What works for me, honey, may not work for you. You play to win when you're not afraid to lose, 'cause you gotta do, baby, what you gotta do. You gotta do, baby, what you gotta do. How you play is for you to decide. I'm not looking to give you advice. This is your one ticket on this roller coaster ride. I'll make it wild, hold on tight on your truth, and you'll be alright. This is your one ticket on this roller coaster ride. You gotta do, baby, what you gotta do. What works for me, honey, may not work for you. You play to win when you're not afraid to lose, 'cause you gotta do, baby, what you gotta do. You gotta do, baby, what you gotta do. Don't listen to the haters saying no you can't, no you can't, no you can't. Smile in your heart, 'cause yes you can, yes. Yeah you can, you know you can. You gotta do, baby, what you gotta do. What works for me, honey, may not work for you. You play to win when you're not afraid to lose, 'cause you gotta do, baby, what you gotta do. You gotta do, baby, what you gotta do. Yeah, you gotta do, baby, what you gotta do. You gotta do, baby, what you gotta do. Yeah, you gotta do, baby, what you gotta do. You gotta do, baby, what you gotta do.
That clip was courtesy of your YouTube channel. What a positive, upbeat song and motivational song because, as you know, probably in the music industry and the media industry, I've had some successes, but I've also had some rejections and people telling me, you're 50 years old, you're too old, you can't do it. And I love the title, just Gotta Do It. Yes,
Yes,
you
you
can.
can. Yeah.
Yes.
That was actually that song and that bridge, like, "Don't listen to the haters saying, no, you can't, no, you can't, smile in your heart, because yes, you can." That is what inspired my album title, Yes, You Can. Like, it just became my mantra. If you wanna do something and you put your mind to it, yes, you can.
I think I'm gonna have to listen to it every day now because there's times where I kinda you have your tough times in that, and you need to keep going and stuff like that, and this is something I have a passion for, just like I can tell you have a passion for your music. Now I have to ask you this, how long did it take you to write that song? And normally, what's the length on your songs, or it just depends?
Well, last night I had a night write, and that was my first night write ever. We were talking about this because a little bit because you're on Twitter too, and that song we talked a lot of business, we talked a lot of shop, so that probably took us like under an hour and a half. Gotta do took closer to like the 4 hour mark, and I only remember because generally in Nashville we book out like 4 hour windows or 3 hour windows to write a song, and I remember that took closer to the 4 hour mark, and then we also went and re-looked at it and like polished it up and made it into the melody and kind of sections that it was. So it took a little longer, but it was very important to me to get that song right. I didn't want it to feel preachy. I wanted it to feel like like a cheerleader, like a motivational song. Like when someone hears it, it encourages them to feel better about themselves and feel good and go after what they should. So it was really important for me to provoke that feeling.
How satisfying is it when you have a song done and it's released onto your album? Your first album, Yes You Can Do, I believe was released what, last May 27th, 2022. How satisfying was that?
Oh my gosh. I remember when I had the albums shipped to my house and I could hold the physical copies for the first time, and I was so like relieving but but exciting, but it was like a weird, I couldn't even describe it to you. It just felt amazing because it was such a hefty project that took many many steps and many many decisions and just a whole lot of time, and to be that diligent for that long on something was it was tough, it was challenging. And so when I finally got to the finish line and held it in my hand, it felt great, like I accomplished something that I set out to do.
One thing I want to ask you also, do musicians still have their music on CDs now, or does it all go to Spotify and all live stream now?
There are, there are some artists that just do like streaming. I, however, it was very important to me to print physical copies of the CD. So I had some shipped to my house, and I know my best friend, Crystal King, who I tour with and go on the road with sometimes. She just got her record in like physical copy form, and it's nice. I feel like to have these as an option for merch at shows and also people to order them online. There's still people out there that order CD packages online where you can just get your CD signed and sent to your house.
And I'm an old guy now, and it seems like the older I get, everything gets retro. Now cassettes are coming back, and records and vinyl records are back, which I never thought I would. Have you had your music put on a record yet?
I have not yet, but it was just record day on the 22nd. That's national, international, what I think. I don't know if it's international, but record day. That's April 22nd every year.
Okay. And Steven's got another question for you. I thank you,
Awesome.
Steven, for watching. Can you just tell us about your new song with Thomas Cavanaugh?
Yeah, it writing and being friends with Thomas was a joy in itself. But then to have this song be shared between the two of us, it's a duet called "Who Am I Gonna Love?" Released it the day before Valentine's Day, and to watch that song be played on all of the big radio stations in the UK and be going over there for the C2C festival and getting to play that live. And I literally told Thomas yesterday on the phone the things that this song has been able to do for both of us in our careers and the doors it has opened has been beyond what I could imagine. So I'm just very grateful that he was willing to partner with me and do that song because I think it turned out great. I'm very proud of it.
What another thing I wanted to ask you, important is it in the industry when you first start out to have a good agent and a manager?
A good one is so important. Are there a lot of bad ones? 100%. You know, and you can't, if you ever sign anything or get with someone who is a bad egg, you cannot let that deter you. That's just a bump in the road. It happens to everybody, and that's why I get in mode where I'm like, don't let it get you down. But to have a good one is everything. You know, I mean, look at how many people are coming off The Voice and American Idol that maybe their careers aren't taking off because they did not pick the right person up for their team.
Okay. How much of an adjustment was it going from Wisconsin to Nashville? I think what, 5 years ago.
It was a big adjustment, actually. I hated missing Mother's Days and birthday parties and baby showers and all the things that my family does on a regular basis to get together, like going to my cousin's, baseball game. Or it really was hard for me at first, but I knew that I always wanted to live in Nashville, so I was gonna stick it out no matter what. But I was definitely homesick because I felt like I was missing out on a lot of family stuff. My family is very close. Luckily, my family is very supportive and they do come into town. They literally just left this morning. They were in town for an event, and that was really special to have them there. I mean, they come into town for stuff like that all the time.
This leads to my next question. How important is it for a starting musician or anyone in a new career to have a strong support system?
So supportive, so supportive. And I think if they don't have a strong support system in family, they lean on maybe their teacher or any sort of champion. I have Steven and people like Steven that message me daily, and I got a chance to tell him to his face, like those messages, those uplifting messages mean everything, and they do keep me going. It's something I do look forward to, and it does feel like a community because I'm constantly writing and working every day, and I don't feel like it's just for my dream. I feel like it's to touch people and affect people and invoke good energy in them, and spread good energy and love through my music, and hopefully encourage people. And that's really what I'm set out to do. I feel like I'm called to do through music.
Just like I feel like this is my calling, even though I started this
Yeah.
later in life. I love as like you like with the music industry, with what I'm trying to do and say is I love the storytelling aspect of it, hearing my guest story and then sharing my stories of as well, and feel like I'm contributing and to
Yeah.
and it's entertainment as well.
Oh, yes, for sure.
And one thing too, also, when I first started this podcast show, I wrote everything down, everything prepared, and a couple of the guys told me, talk to your guests like you're at a donut shop or a sporting event or a restaurant. And most of the questions I had prepared for you tonight, I've just been at learned how to ad lib.
I love that. I think that is really important. That was something I had to learn as well, how important it was to listen in an interview, and you can have your agenda, you can have the the blueprint thing, but to also go with the flow of the conversation. And not everyone can do that, you know?
Absolutely. Which leads to my next question I wanted to ask you. How competitive is the music industry, especially when you're first starting out in it?
Extremely competitive. I remember moving to Nashville and being like, "Oh my, I have some work to do." Like I knew that I needed, here was me and here's the bar, and I needed to learn and focus on my craft, and I'm always still doing that. I will never stop doing that. And it is competitive. I think we all, but it's also, as much as it's competitive, I feel like we're all here to help each other and like lift each other up. I can easily call up a bunch of musicians and be like, "Hey, who did you use for that one music video? I really liked that." Or who is this producer on this? Or can you introduce me to this writer? Like stuff like that happens all the time. And you kind of you learn the good people, and you make sure that you keep yourself surrounded with good people, and then you just kind of help each other out because it's tough, and it makes it a little easier when you can share resources and just ideas and shortcuts, all the things together.
And that's what I'm seeing from the media industry too. I've had guests on here I never thought would even acknowledge me, and they've come on, and majority of the people have been really supportive of what I'm doing, making connections, contacts, and I've even made some friendships on here as well.
I love that. I love that.
There is another question I was going to ask you, but I forgot it. So if I remember it, I'll try to get it to you before our time is up, or I'll just send you a DM. But sometimes you want to say something and then it just you forget it, and then it pops in your head a few minutes later.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
totally.
Definitely. Okay. I will use a couple of my questions since I'm here in Southern Ontario, which isn't far from Michigan or Buffalo near Toronto. Can you just tell my audience a little bit about yourself and where did you go to school? And
Cool.
yeah, and you already answered my other question, so I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. I'm Kirstie Kraus. I am a country music recording artist out of Nashville. I also write songs for myself and for other artists. Whenever I am in Nashville, I tour as well a lot. Live performing and writing songs is the fun part of my job. I also do a lot of my own admin stuff and my own kind of running my own small business or label, if you will. So that's what I do full time for the last 8 years, and I love it. And it's a grind, but it's what I feel like I'm called to do. I'm originally from Madison, Wisconsin area, and I did end up going to college at Edgewood, right in the heart of Madison, Wisconsin, right down the road from UW. And so that was the good time. I went 4 years there and did a business degree with a music, with a marketing an emphasis, and then did a little bit of a music background and in classes as well in college.
Cool. Now I remember what I wanted to ask you as well.
Okay.
How difficult and how much did the pandemic affect the music industry for those 2 years or a year and a half, I guess, depending on which area you were?
Oh, tremendously. I mean, we, as a full time musician, our bread and butter is to go out and play events and meet people and connect with our fans. And we weren't able to do that. And frankly, that's what I'm wired to do. So it was very emotionally difficult too. I immediately pretty much turned to a lot of online streaming, and I was doing streaming every Thursday. And then I also was focusing on a lot of UK features, which is kind of what has brought me down this path with a UK duet and going over there for their festivals and planning a 2024 tour. I also started going to Florida a lot because we could play outside, small acoustic shows that were safe, and people would be at their own tables, and I would just play because I can't not play. So that kept me sane. But it was very different, and I, instead of doing a bunch of full band shows, I was doing acoustic shows. You know?
As much as I like doing the virtual podcast and it got me through the pandemic, now that everything's opened up again, I do live interviews, I do camera work, and it's not the same. As much as I love technology and the virtual stuff, like this podcast, there's nothing better than being live in person.
Yes. And
And sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say that kind of goes with what Stephen is saying.
Yeah, and Stephen has another comment. I'm having trouble convincing your fans that Friday night show was a once in a lifetime kind of show.
Well, I can attest to that. Things happened in person on that stage that will never happen again and were very rare. And the collaborations and having myself sitting between Justin Love and Brady Lee on a song that they both have played with me on the road. I mean, these are some really, really special moments. And to have the writers of certain songs that I co-wrote these songs with be performing certain songs that they've never performed live. I mean, we'll never see that again. So I am so thankful of all the people who came out. It was a packed house in Nashville, and even though it was raining, which is normally deters people, but it was so much fun. The event was called Songs Out of Nash at the Vinyl Lounge and presented by Kirstie Kraus, me. And so that was really fun. It was 45 songs that I co-wrote with my friends and co-writers, and there were 17 performers.
Wow. And I was going to say, I know I was kind of I wasn't sounding negative about the virtual thing. I just prefer live instead. But
Oh
it's great.
yes.
But this technology is great because I'm in Canada, like probably I don't know 10, 11 hours away from now. And watch and listen to your performance on Twitter on Friday night, and it was quite.
Yes.
It was very enjoyable.
Thank you. I know that I think the stream wasn't the best, like highest quality, but I was like, I would rather stream it a little bit, and people aren't going to get the full effect of being there, but
Yes,
hopefully they'll get the essence of what went down on Friday, just because it was such a special night and event. And thank you for tuning in.
definitely. Are you okay for a couple more questions?
Oh,
Another
yeah.
4 minutes? Okay. This one I wanted to ask you. I was reading up on this on your bio. Can
Uh,
you just tell us about your Midwest band, Thirsty Jones, and who came up with
yes.
the name? And was it your creation, the band?
Yes, I started the band. I remember I talked to the radio station and I was so excited. We had like one practice and the radio station ended up taking me very seriously and they were like, "Okay, let's have you play the Taste of Madison," which is a big festival in my area. And I was like, "Okay." And they're like, "What's your band name?" And I was like, "Let me get back to you." Because I was, pre-selling the band before the band was really a thing. And I had 3 days to pick the name. So I ended up picking Thirsty Jones because thirsty rhymes with Kirstie, and so I thought that would be fun. And then Jones was like our band family last name. I tried like Thirsty Johnson, Thirsty Smith, Thirsty Jones, and I was like George Jones, country, cool, like that's it. And so that's how that came about. That was like almost a 4 year run. I think it was like 3.5 years and some change. And we just had a blast. It was a power trio with me as a singer, and I wasn't playing guitar at the time. We were diving into a lot of country, rock, blues, funk. We were kind of singing it all and doing a lot of the festivals where sometimes we would do 4 hour shows and sometimes we do festival shows where it was like my originals. So we were kind of a hybrid, a cover band and also an artist fronted band.
Any chance you guys could have a reunion in the future?
We have had reunions, especially with me and the lead guitar player. I think we got on stage together in this last June and performed a 2 hour show together where I was on guitar and he was on secondary guitar lead. And it was really fun. I mean, we actually are, we've always been close, but we're closer now that we're not in a band together and I'm not his boss. But we're like literally best friends, brother and sister, and he's got 2 babies at home now and I talk to him on the regular and he's just a really good family friend now.
Awesome. Who were some of your influence in the music industry when you were younger? Did you have a favorite particular singer and a favorite band?
Oh my goodness. Yes, all of it. My the first couple singers were Amy Grant, Gloria Stefan, and then I loved like all the women divas. It was like Celine, Shania, Mariah, Brittany, Christina, like until I was about 7-ish. Then Leanne Rimes came out, Shania Twain came out, and was doing crossover. And then I just like immediately went over to country. And it was Martina, Faith, Jody Messina. From there, those were like, and Leanne Rimes. Those were some of like the females that I looked to. I think I memorized every inflection that Martina did in her albums. Um, but yeah, those really a lot of female divas. I liked the Sticks because my dad was like an 80s hair band and my mom was like Peter Frampton, like very opposite spectrums. So they came together at the Sticks. And so I think I found through them playing that and Fleetwood Mac a lot. Those were like two big bands for me back in the day.
I'm a huge fan of Fleetwood Mac and the one song called Dreams. I think Stevie Nicks was the lead singer for that one from 1978. And it just brings me back. These songs can bring you back to the 70s and 80s and
Oh yeah.
90s, just hearing that music and that
I
as well.
know. Isn't that awesome? It can do that.
Okay, I'm going to wrap this up because I told you I'd keep it to 40 minutes, but I definitely would like to have you back on again as a guest in the future if you're interested as well.
Oh yeah, I love that. You were great, Chris. It was very, very nice to meet you. And thank you so much for having me today. And I am so honored that I'm your first Nashville artist. This is great.
And
I'm happy.
am I the first Canadian podcast you've been on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So there.
Cool. Have you ever have you ever performed in Canada, or would you be interested in coming over here to perform at some point?
100%. I would love to come up there. I know my friend Tegan Gaze is over in the BC area.
Okay, that's
One
the West
time
Coast.
she
Yeah.
mentioned that I could come up and do some wineries with her, and I was like, I'm gonna remember that for the
And
future. So
and we have good wineries here in the Niagara Falls, Ontario area.
let me know. So email me them, and I will make it happen.
Definitely. And finally, we'll wrap this up. I forgot what the question was again. Know what? Now I've got it. Where can my audience follow you or find you on social media? And again, when is your next performance?
Yes, everyone, please connect. KirstieKraus.com is my website. I also am on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and all the things. So if you go to my Linktree link on Instagram, it has all of the music videos and everything to dive into, all things Kirstie Kraus. It's pronounced like Kirstie Kraus. My next show is Thursday. Thursday, I will be at Azona Brewing Company in, oh my gosh, Land O'Lakes. I believe that's what the city is, right there in Florida. Let me see.
Will
The
it be
city is
broadcast?
called Palm Harbor, Florida.
Okay. Will it be broadcast stream live too?
I don't believe it. That one will, but
Okay.
we could maybe figure something out at some point on one of these
Okay.
Key West shows. Like, so keep your eyes peeled to the social media for the next, this next like week and a half, because we're definitely going to have a lot of shows and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I may throw up the camera a couple times in Key West.
Okay, definitely. And Stephen, thank you so much for watching. Love the interview. And I'm going to let you go. But Kirstie, thank you so much for doing this. And you have an open invite to come back on again and talk about some more aspects of the music industry as well.
I love that. Anytime. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Have a great night, Chris.
You too. And we'll keep in touch on social media. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Talk to you soon. Bye.
You too. Bye. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed season 5, episode 45 tonight with my guest, Kirstie Kraus. She's a country singer and songwriter and also a podcast host as well. And she also does some voiceover work in the Nashville, Tennessee area. And she is a Green Bay Packer fan as well, being from Madison, Wisconsin as well. Stephen McCreary, thank you so much for watching my podcast show with her as well. Guys, I just want to let you guys know the next live with CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet, will be tomorrow, Tuesday, April 25th at 4 p.m. Eastern with Mike Hogan, the communications manager and play-by-play announcer for the CFL's defending Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts. So I hope you guys can tune in tomorrow, the season 5, episode 46, with my friend Mike Hogan from the Toronto Argonauts. And we're going to talk about the 2022 Grey Cup champion Argonauts team and what to look forward in the 2023 CFL season, and if this Argonauts team is capable of winning back-to-back Grey Cups. And it's also the 150th year of the Toronto Argonauts franchise, the oldest professional franchise in North American sports, going back to 1873. So please tune in tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And I want to say thank you to everyone for watching this podcast show tonight on those live streams I just mentioned as well, guys. And also, I've got a busy week ahead of me too. I also have 2 more podcasts on Wednesday. Wednesday, April 26th at 1 p.m. Eastern with my guest, Lee Newton. She's a Nashville recording artist, singer, and song writer. And then at 6 o'clock p.m., I have Mookie Hawkins, a sports director from Power 96.5 FM and WUFO 1080 AM in Buffalo, New York. And he's also the Buffalo Bills beat reporter. So Mookie's going to come on and talk about the Bills, the Buffalo Sabres, and maybe a little lacrosse with the Buffalo Bandits, who defeated the Rock the other night 11-10 to win the Eastern Conference regular season championship in the NLL. And they'll most likely face the Rock again in the playoffs as well, guys. And check out the website NLL.com, the National Lacrosse League.com. as well, guys. And before we wrap this show up, guys, as always, live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment talk show hosted by yours truly, Chris Pame, is now on weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk, the heartbeat of Atlanta as well. And you can check out the website at WQEEFM.radio. 12345.com as well. And as always, guys, Live with CDP Sports Talk is live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And thank you to everyone for watching on my live streams. And also, guys, you can check out my website. My official website is at beacons.ai/Chris D. Pame. All my digital content and previous podcast shows are on that website as well. And as always, guys, Live with CDP Sports Talk is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycullen.com. And again, it's truck months at Barry Cullen Chevrolet, a 2023 Silverado pickup truck, 1500, 3.49% financing up to 72 months. Anyone that's an eligible Costco member can receive up to $750 gift card bonus on certain select trucks at Barry Cullen Chevrolet as well, guys. You can also follow me on TikTok at Live with CDP. That's at Live with CDP. I post a lot of content and for my podcast show on TikTok as well. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports Talk as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk is produced by CDP Media Productions here in Ontario, 2023. And finally, before we wrap this up, guys, Live with CDP Sports Talk podcast, the audio version is available on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Stitcher, and Tuned In, and also on WQEE 99.1 FM weeknights as well, guys. You can also email or text Live with CDP Sports Talk at cpame19@gmail.com, or text the show at 519-820-7188 as well. And before we wrap this up, guys, the New York Jets announced today with the Green Bay Packers they have acquired future Hall of Fame quarterback Aaron Rodgers from the Green Bay Packers, obviously from some draft picks and stuff. I don't know all the details, but Aaron Rodgers is now officially a New York Jet. And Joe Namath, who's a Hall of Fame quarterback who wore number 12 for the Jets and they retired it, offered him Rodgers number 12, but Aaron Rodgers is going to go with his college number 8 for the Jets. But Aaron Rodgers is now officially a member of the New York Jets after a long, great career with the Green Bay Packers. And Green Bay Packer fans have had it great for 30 years with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. And now it's up to Jordan Love. And we'll see if Jordan Love could be maybe another Jalen Hurts as well. Before we wrap this up, guys, we got hockey tonight, playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs. New Jersey at the Rangers. The Rangers are up 2-1 in that series. Leafs, Tampa Bay tonight. Leafs are up 2-1 on Tampa Bay. Vegas and the Jets. Vegas is up in that series 2-1. And Colorado, Seattle. Colorado's up 2-1 in the series. And in NBA playoffs action today, Milwaukee and Miami. The Miami Heat are up 2-1 on the Bucks. And then later tonight, we got the Memphis Grizzlies taking on LeBron James and the Lakers in LA. Lakers are up 2-1 in that series as well. And finally, I'm just going to wrap this up. Again, guys, I want to say thank you to my guest, Kirstie Kraus, country artist, songwriter out of Nashville, Tennessee. And she released her first album, Yes You Can, in the May of 2022. All her music is available where music is available on Spotify, YouTube, etc. as well. And you guys can also check out her website, KirstieKraus.com as well. And you can also follow Kirstie on Twitter at Kirstie Kraus as well. And you can check out Kirstie's website at linktree/Kirstie Kraus as well, guys. And I think we'll put her website on here and then we'll wrap this up. And Kirstie's website again, guys, if you want to follow her on her official website, is at KirstieKraus.com as well. So again, thank you to Kirstie Kraus for coming on live with CDP tonight, season 5, episode 45. Tonight's the 265th episode I've done since March of 2020 as well. So I hope you guys, I've got a busy week ahead of you for a podcast show. I have tomorrow with Mike Hogan, Wednesday with Lee Newton and Mookie Hawkins. And then Saturday, I have a special guest. Her name is Amanda Cross, and she'll be coming on at 4 o'clock on Live with CDP Sports Talk. And she's another musician, and she's from New York City. So I've got another 4 podcast shows this week. And again, I want to say thank you to everyone watching this live stream or listening on my audio platforms, or listening to me on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM. Again, thank you to Kirstie Kraus for coming on, and I hope everyone has a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow for season 5, episode 46, live with CDP Sports Talk, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet, with my guest, Mike Hogan, the communications manager and play-by-play announcer for the 2022 CFL Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts. Have a great evening, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock again with Mike Hogan from the Toronto Argonauts. Again, thank you to everyone for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports Talk. And again, check out my guest music work, Kirstie Kraus as well. Good night, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock.